Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gorgeous Growth Podcast, where we discuss strategies to take your brand to the top. I'm your host, Oscar Guerrero, and today I'm joined by Annie Brown. Annie, welcome
Hello.
to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to talk about beauty for however long we're going to talk. I can talk
Sure.
about this stuff all day.
Awesome. So, for those of you who don't know, Annie is the co founder of Mascara Club. She's also a visiting scholar at UC San Diego. Uh, sorry. Let's start that again. Visiting
No
scholar
worries.
performing. I didn't put in the word performance.
Oh, you don't have to say perform. It's visiting scholar
Uh-huh.
with the, you don't even have to say that. You can just say visiting scholar at UC San Diego. I think that's fine.
Okay. All right. Let's just go back here. So, for those of you who don't know, Annie is the co-founder of Mascara Club. She is also the visiting scholar at UC San Diego and a current member of the Wharton VIPX program. She's also a former Forbes contributor. So, I would love if you share with us a little bit more about Mascara Club.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. It is the only mascara I use and will ever use, and there's a number of reasons for that. So, Mascara Club, essentially, we're building the Dollar Shave Club for mascara, and there's a few reasons behind that. One is that a subscription model does, help with convenience. Mascara is the makeup product that women actually use, or people who wear mascara wear most often. It's one of those things where you can throw it on and you instantly look a little bit more put together. And for that reason, it you if you're using it every day, it's actually better to have it. It's actually better to have it more often, I guess, or like have a subscription to it, because then when you're run out, you don't run out of it, you can have it delivered. But a big reason that's close to my heart of why we're doing a subscription model is because the FDA actually recommends that you replace your mascara 3 months after you first use it, which most people don't know. Most people will say that they've had their mascara in their bag for well over a year and never changed it. And the reason to change it is because bacteria can build up in that. So we've created a smaller tube so that it stays fresh, clump free, and preserves eye health. And you get on subscription so you can, get it replaced when you need to without eye irritation, without having to risk things that a lot of people deal with, as far as like eye health issues that are actually caused by their makeup and they don't even know it. We also sell one-off products, and so you can test it out before you subscribe. We're also the cleanest mascara on the market. We go beyond the whole food standards of clean, and I can talk more about our definition of clean versus maybe some other brands' definitions of clean. Myself, I actually struggled with chronic health issues and shifted to all clean beauty products, because I was doing my own research and learned that shifting out harmful chemicals from your home and from your makeup could actually help improve chronic health issues. And it did. It made my life a lot better. So now I use all clean beauty products. And one of the reasons why I'm so excited about Mascara Club is because mascara was one of the hardest clean beauty products to find. A mascara that worked really well, that was clean, and that didn't hurt my eyes. So yeah, that's a little quick intro.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's just there has been definitely in the beauty industry a lot of talk lately, over clean beauty, sustainable, natural, and how do we define all of these things, right? Like there are people out there who say all natural, and then you would think that all natural would mean that you don't have things in there like plastic, when that's not true. You actually can, and people can get away with that. So defining these things, I think, is super important. um, could you tell us a little bit more about how someone would go about really knowing if a product is quote unquote clean, or how clean a product is?
Yeah, so in places like the EU, there are quite a few regulations. So you're not allowed to say you're clean, and you're not even allowed to sell the product unless you hit unless you are proving that you don't have certain ingredients, certain toxic ingredients in your product. In the US, we don't have anything like that. And so it's very easy for any company to claim that they are clean or use the buzzword clean when they're still using chemicals that are very harmful for your skin and for your overall health. And so one resource I recommend to everybody is this app called the Think Dirty app. You can download it in the App Store, and it's got millions of products, and it's user submitted and brand submitted. But the cool thing about it is that every product you see on there has been hand tested by their chemical scientists for the most harmful ingredients. And you can go to their site and learn a little bit more about what those harmful ingredients are. But then the products are ranked 0, which is the best rating, meaning 0 dirty, and then 10 being very dirty, having a lot of dirty ingredients. And if you go in there and search mascara, My Little Mascara has a rating of 0, being the best rating, and also the highest ratings on there as far as performance, because you can also see how well it performs. But then if you go down, you'll also find that there are some brands that say they're clean, base their brand off of being clean, but are rated 5, 6, 7, which sort of opens your eyes a little bit to the clean rankings in the US. And so what I do when I'm in a store or if I'm shopping online, I'll look at a product, I see, okay, it's got good reviews, it says it's clean, but I always check on the Think Dirty app to make sure it's a 0 before I purchase it.
Wow, it's not only what's clean, but how clean is it? And
Yes.
this has been a big deal due to the that lawsuit with Sephora. I don't know if you're
Right.
right, like the whole thing that Sephora was sued for having their clean, it was like clean at Sephora, and then people found it misleading, and then it's like, if there's not a definition of this, then there's obviously some work that has to be done.
Well, and there's consequences for that, right? Like, so someone like me who's very sensitive to things, who has purposely, taken a lot of harmful chemicals out of my system for health reasons, that can have pretty, real world impact. It's not just about marketing. It's not just about branding. It's about users, especially younger consumers and consumers with health issues, wanting to have products that benefit their health. We want to have the beauty experience. We want great performing products, but we aren't going to use makeup if it harms our health.
Makes sense. Wow. So let me ask you a little bit about this. Your background, from my understanding, you also have a background in like influencer marketing and the creator economy. Could you share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah. So my academic background is actually in gender studies and economics, and I wrote my senior thesis on the business practices of Cosmopolitan magazine, actually, and really got into marketing, especially kind of understanding media marketing there, and got interested in media. And then, as I was graduating college, social media was really exploding. When I started college, Facebook had just started. I don't think Instagram was even a thing yet when I graduated college, but just learning about media and then following that trend after I graduated. I think one thing I worked at Planned Parenthood for a while. I was in their communications department. And then I was very lucky in that I joined a tech startup right before they went through the Y Combinator accelerator. And so I was able to go through that process of really understanding like communications, growth, social media, from that very early startup stage, but in a very accelerated way, because in Y Combinator, it's basically like they need you to hit 10% growth per week, and that is just an expected requirement.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that was understanding, okay, what are the fastest ways to grow with the least amount of resources? Because, startups don't usually have a lot of resources. And from that, I really dove into influencer marketing and understanding influencer marketing, because at that time, ads weren't as expensive, I guess, as they are now for social media, but influencer marketing still, was performing way better. And what I've noticed change since then was that when I was starting influencer marketing, it was all about the mega influencers. So we were working with influencers with 100,000 followers. I worked with a travel brand where, a social media influencer with about 1 million followers on Instagram, and we did a giveaway for this huge prize, and it was just this big thing. And so, putting a lot of work into less influencers, but those influencers having more reach. And then today, the trend, and I noticed this myself too as a great tactic, is working with the micro influencers. So working with people with 2,000, 5,000 followers that are going to be really passionate about your brand specifically. They don't need to be, paid. They're just excited to get the gift, and you work with them almost to help them develop their following as they're also helping you develop your brand. So yeah, I'd be happy to talk a bit more about influencer marketing, best practices, all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to hear that. And I'm sure that whoever is listening to this definitely wants to know more about that. It's become such a hot topic and so important, and everything that has to do with marketing, especially in the beauty industry, right? Like there are I know brands that have just grown off of what they've done on TikTok and Instagram.
Right.
So I guess my first question about that is, how would you get started? Like, is there a platform that you recommend where you're going to go out and find these influencers? And then how do you vet them?
Yeah. So, I think there's two ways to go about it. If you are looking for those larger influencers and working with those folks that have 25, 50, 100,000 followers, my advice is always to do your best to build a really authentic relationship with them. So don't just off the bat send them a cut and paste copy message to their DMs or to their email completely cold. Either try to get a warm intro. So one thing that really works well is talk to brands that have worked with that influencer and say, hey, would you mind, providing an introduction? Or, we'd be happy to hop on a call with you, talk a little bit about our brand, and share some of our influencer network and make intros to our influencer network if you'd be willing to make an introduction to your influencer network. So try to get that warm intro if possible. If the warm intro is not possible, then try to do a slow burn building up that relationship. Because especially with those folks with like 100,000 followers, they are getting so many messages a day. You have to show that you, one, understand their brand, understand their audience, and care about them as a person and as a business owner. And so start interacting with their content across mediums. So let's say you want an Instagram post, but if they've got a Twitter page, interact with that Twitter page. If they have a TikTok, interact with the TikTok. And so try to get noticed that way, and then see if you can give before you ask. So maybe, on one of their posts, they're saying, we're looking for donations for this, this, and this. Maybe your company could provide a donation to a cause they care about or partner on something. There's a lot of ways that you can actually, as a brand or as a founder, support an influencer. Think of them as like a fellow entrepreneur that maybe you could provide mentorship or connections for. So that's for the larger influencers. For the smaller influencers, you don't have to do as much groundwork, because I think a lot of the smaller influencers, they're not getting hundreds of DMs to their mailbox to try to promote their product. So they're just excited that you're interested in them, that you like their content and you want to work with them. One platform I have used that I've actually really enjoyed so far is called Social Cat. It is pretty basic. You basically create your social media profile, or you create your profile on the account. It connects to all your social media, and then their network of micro influencers come to your page and they request to work with you. So you don't have to do a lot of outbound. You have people requesting, and then on that page, they have reviews. So other brands who have worked with them review how it went, and things like that. What I like about Social Cat too is the majority of the posts are gifted. And so, if you just provide them a gift, a sample of your product, they will create a post. Now, as far as like sales right off the bat from some of those things, you're probably not going to get like a huge influx of sales, but what you do get is you get user generated content, which is super valuable, for free basically, or for gifted. And then you also start building up this network of people who know your product, who know you, and you can then recruit them into an affiliate program. And that's sort of what we're doing. We're starting something called Clean Beauty University, where essentially we're bringing in influencers that we worked really well with into this program, or anybody who applies through our site. And then it's an affiliate market program, but we're also providing training. So with my background in influencer marketing, I don't just help brands, I can also help influencers grow their following. So we'll have makeup tutorials, but we'll also have webinars on, how to grow your following, how to create professional content, things like that. So I think the main takeaway from all of that is that you want not just an ask relationship from influencers, but you want this back and forth relationship. And then you find that not only will you have an authentic relationship with that person, but that person will have an authentic relationship with your product that will then come across in the content that they're creating for you.
Wow. Okay. Would you say that I think it would be good to set expectations on this, like for founders out there, like what can they expect in terms of return? I mean, like I guess the investment isn't that large, is not big. They're giving away a product, and it's like you said, they're getting user generated content. But what I find when I talk to a lot of founders of, I would say probably sub $2 million brands, is that they're usually looking for fast revenue. And I'm like, unfortunately, like if it's not extremely expensive, fast revenue is kind of hard to come by. And it's kind of like this organic process of embedding yourself in a community and working with influencers, in my experience so far, has kind of been like a slower route, but one that does pay off for sure. And I mean, it's very high ROI. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a way around that, or I don't know. What do you think?
I think, well, one thing has been really interesting as far as like traffic on our site. So when we uploaded to Social Cat, we got a huge influx of views on our site just from the Social Cat site. So that was really interesting. And we were getting sales from that too. So people who are influencers coming to the site, seeing our product, maybe it wasn't a fit for their page, but they liked the product, so they bought it. So that was really interesting. So I think like for me, it's just about getting eyeballs. Like all content marketing, whether it's social media or anything like that, is going to be a long game. If you're doing organic marketing, and all our growth thus far, we've got currently 375 subscribers and made 250,000 in revenue so far. All of that has been organic. And so, when you're doing that investment, it definitely does pay off. And I think, but what you've got to do is you've got to have those steps where it's like, you don't just work with an influencer and then that's the last thing. I think it's you work with an influencer, you bring them into an affiliate marketing program. You have like ways of continuing to work with them. It's like a CRM cycle for an influencer, because that's when you're really going to see that faster ROI. If you just keep working with different influencers over and over and over again, you'll get a lot of eyeballs, which can definitely drive traffic and drive sales, but you've got to also have that. I would also say that when you're working with influencers, what we found is that pairing it with like a really good offer. And so that offer isn't just like, 10% off, but it's basically saying, if you buy our product, this is what you deliver. So providing some guidance to the influencers as well on the messaging does help quite a bit. For us, we're actually right now running a promotion where we're very confident in our product. Almost everybody who uses it loves our product. And so we're actually providing your first mascara free when you subscribe. And so something like that works really well with an influencer marketing program, because then the influencers feel like they're sort of letting their followers in on a really great deal, a really great, like almost secret. And so I think it's about not just like, okay, we're going to work with influencers, but having a strategy around influencer marketing that makes a difference in how fast you can get that ROI.
Makes sense. It's more than just reaching out to an influencer and having them make some content and posting it. It sounds like it's much more than that. And
Yep.
then what about on the affiliate side? Is there anything that you recommend as far as any platforms or tools or anything like that?
Yeah, so we just started using Shopify Collabs, which is a very new tool with Shopify, and I'm really liking it so far. It's very basic, very simple, but you can do the whole application process through that. You can also, it's similar to Social Cat in that you can also make your profile visible for people to apply to you, but then you can also search their database of influencers already in the Shopify platform. If you go to our website, you'll see a little pop-up on the bottom left-hand corner, and that gets you to the application page for the affiliate marketing program. Again, no matter what platform you use for affiliate marketing, you've got to make it more than just this simple transactional thing, because that's not, because affiliate marketing shouldn't just be transactional. It should be a community building tool. And so like for us, like, making it more than if you sell this mascara, you get 10%. It's more like, sell the mascara, tell your friends about it. But then on top of, any sales you make, let's say you make no sales, that's okay. If you're a part of the program, you still get these resources, and maybe we help you to grow your audience, so then you can make more sales or something like that. So trying to, again, that give take relationship, and offering more than just something transactional, like making your affiliate marketing program also a community building program, makes it more worth the investment that you put into it.
Yeah, I think that the biggest complaint that I've heard when I talk to people in the industry is that when they're working with larger influencers, or when they see other brands working with larger influencers, they notice that they can see right through this, and they can see that some of those agreements are completely transactional.
Yeah.
And the influencer doesn't believe in the brand. They don't even use it, and they're making claims that aren't true, and they're just doing it to
Right.
push the product. And that is, it's definitely a source of frustration, but I think that those things are short-lived. I think that
Mhm.
people can see through that, and
Yeah, I mean, like you could pay, $100,000 for a post on somebody's Instagram page, and that's up there for a day. Maybe you get some sales from that, but it's not long term,
yeah,
and you've made that huge investment. While if you took that same money and invested it in more of a community program for influencers, where you're actually interacting, you've got some sort of CRM, maybe right away you won't see as many sales in one day, but over time you'd actually see more than what you would get from that one post. One thing I'll also mention is that when you are doing influencer marketing of any kind, one thing that's maybe known to a lot of people, but I like to point out because some first-time founders don't know this, is you've got to look at the engagement, because there are some influencers with huge numbers, and you just see that top follower number and you're like, okay, good, I'll pay whatever price you want. But their engagement numbers are not very good. So the number of likes, the number of comments on a post are pretty low. And so what you want to look for is around like a 10% engagement rate is incredible. So if you can find a 10% rate engagement, that's awesome. Anywhere around like, I would say, like three, you definitely want like at least three up to 10% engagement for the number of followers to engagements on the post. But if you're looking at things that are like 1%, 2% engagement rate, which you will see a lot, I don't know if it's necessarily worth the investment. And the way that you look at that is basically you just divide the number of comments and likes on a post by the number of followers, and then you get the percentage there. But that's just something to look out for and keep in mind. And I think why micro influencers are growing, because micro influencers actually tend to have much higher engagement rates than some of these larger influencers.
I love it. That's awesome. That's an actual like something that you can back up statistically is really, really great. That's a great takeaway. So tell me then, what are your plans for the future? How's everything, where do you see Mascara Club in say 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so like I said before, we're working on building a Dollar Shave Club for mascara. We're following that model in that there's two aspects of the Dollar Shave Club model that I find really interesting. One is that you're taking a product that that you can actually distinctly improve on. So Dollar Shave Club model isn't just about, taking any product and making it subscription. It's about taking a product and then making distinct, valuable improvements to the product. So for us, one improvement is the size, also the brush, the formula, the fact that it's clean, and the fact that we're the only mascara company really talking about and advocating for eye health. So that's one thing. The other thing is having a zero-sum product. So the idea that once people start using our product, they tend to not use their other products because they find it so much better. And so having those two aspects plus the subscription model, we're really excited about the potential for large growth. So right now we're in the Wharton VIP X program, which is Wharton's San Francisco program. And that was really great. It gave us a huge boost, a lot of really exciting connections. Wharton's a school that is pretty well known for its direct-to-consumer successes. So we're getting advice and input from the best of the best. We graduate that program in June, and we are then basically, we actually did an improvement to our volume and curl formula that's coming in the next couple months. And once we get that improved formula in, we're actually going to do a huge push on marketing. I think we were talking about this before the podcast, but actually up until now, all of our marketing, all of our sales has been done through email and building our email subscriber list. And that has been huge. But I think, when we're talking about getting to the next level, we can't just keep just doing email marketing, right? So we have to step it up, add something to it. And so with my background, naturally, the next step, the next evolution is working with influencer marketing. One thing I'm really excited about is the great feedback we've been getting from eye clinics and eye health doctors. And so I think for me, that's a really natural step as far as working with influencers. I actually, when I'm working with mega influencers, I like to work with influencers who, being an influencer isn't their full-time job. They've got, some other specialty, some other thing that they're doing that they're passionate about, that they're working towards. And if it's related to your brand, that's even better. So, working with some of the influencers in the eye health space, I think is going to be really great for us, because as far as how we stand out, that's one of the biggest things that everybody says is that this doesn't irritate my eyes. And so really trying to work on understanding that audience better, and then working with the people that really get that audience and have done a good job. So that's the first step, I think, for US growth. And then my co-founder, Patrick Ryan, he was formerly at TikTok, at Google, heading up global growth strategies for these huge products. And so he's a specialist in global growth strategies. And so alongside our US growth, we're also looking at global growth, because, you know, eye health, clean mascara, you know, a mascara that really works, that people love, is not something that's distinct to the US. There are people around the world that are looking for our product. So right now, researching which is the next market to go into is kind of an exciting time for us, and as far as like big next steps.
Wow. Well, you sounds like you have a lot going on.
Yes.
But I think that you guys are definitely on the right track, and I'm so excited to see how you guys grow and scale over the next coming year or so, and going global. That's really exciting. And I really wish you the best. I want to thank you again for being on the show and for sharing all of that information with us. Thank you so
Yes, of
much.
course. Happy to. And if any of your listeners want to reach out, please do via our website. I'd be happy to, you know, hop on calls, talk to aspiring beauty founders about tips and tricks for influencer marketing. No problem.
So what would be the best way to reach you then?
I think the best way to reach me would be at my personal email. So it's Annie@mascara.app. So you can reach out to me there. And then also we've got email, our social media, all on our website, which is mylittlemascaraclub.com.
That's great. Thank you so much. Have a great one.
Thank you.